today in Sofia at the 13th Water Conference, and we have been in there listening to brilliant lectures for 2 days. And it was great, but we all feel exhausted. Why? We were locked up in, like you have this with all these PowerPoint presentations, dark room, big projector, and you are like in this artificial light for many hours. Now the sun is going a little bit away, but we are again in daylight outside on the balcony, and it's important. My name, by the way, is Harald Kerres. I'm from the Netherlands, and what I'm giving you is secondary knowledge. That means I have learned this from other people and giving it now to...
But you're also a mathematician and a physician.
Yes. I studied mathematical physics, most of it mathematics, a little bit physics, almost forever. My father was at the European Patent Office, and the European Patent Office was friendly enough to pay for my studies forever. So I could do anything I liked, and I surely did.
Wonderful
and
for us.
That brought me here to Bulgaria. It's the third time I'm here at the Water Conference. In about 2004, I wanted to start my own company that was supposed to make luminous road marking. You know, the white stripes and the zebras and the lines on the roads, and to make it active luminous, because we have an elderly population that keeps driving longer and longer. So I wanted to make that. It was difficult to make a new type of lighting, but we did, of course, the research in all kinds of competitive lightings, and that gave me some knowledge what I'm now talking about. The light you see during the day, you have like the blue light from the sky, and many years ago, a guy who is now a professor at Oxford University and a fellow of the Royal Society, he's called Russell Foster, went to a conference like this about the human eye and gave a presentation. And at the end of the presentation, an elderly professor comes to him and says, "Young man, do you seriously want us to believe that you on your own during your PhD research found a new photoreceptor for the human eye, knowing that everybody in this room, these senior researchers, have been looking for such a thing for 25 years and found nothing?" And the young Russell Foster answered, "That's exactly what I claimed, sir. That's what I did." And he was right. He found a blue light photoreceptor. And the signal coming from the blue light photoreceptor in your eye goes to a thing that's the SCN. It's the supranuclear
nucleus.
Descartes thought that the soul was there because according to him, it was the only thing in the body that's not duplicated in symmetry, but there's only one of it. But okay.
That's a pineal gland,
Yes. And in almost every cell of your body, in every tissue, there is something called a biological clock, or that's a name given to something. And what do we call a biological clock? That's any biological dynamic system that returns periodically to its original state. And you have different timings of that, and the things that are called circadian rhythms means like circa, dian, that is almost like a day, so around 24 hours. And why do I say circa? Why is it around 24 hours? Well, if you put people under the ground in a bunker, or like we were now in the conference, you notice that it is not 24 hours. It's for some people a little bit more, I think for some people it's a little bit less. So it's just a fluctuating system that somehow is near 24 hours. So how do you set the time of your little bit sloppy watch? That you do by a signal coming from blue light.
Okay.
And it comes by sunrise, the first blue light that gets of a certain frequency band that gets to your retina, that goes to the system, says, "Whoa, now the sun has risen and this person, billions of clocks, you better know to put your watches so the whole system, the metabolism, can do its thing." And probably that even goes to the microbiome, because what you see here is 10% of cells of my DNA and 90% of all kinds of microorganisms living in me. And they also have to do their thing together. So they have to synchronize, therefore we have those clocks. Okay, in nature we evolved billions of years. This works with this blue light. It knows the organism, knows the time. Basically everything starts to synchronize in the same rhythm. The problem we have now, we live with artificial lighting for many, many years. And there is far too much blue light in the laptops we use, in the mobile phones, etc., etc. But people ask me, what is a good light to use? Because I was going to put a new one on the market. People ask me, what should I use? Well, the best thing you could buy 10 years ago was the simple light bulb. And it was outlawed in Europe, in the European Union, because it produces heat. And that's not good for the iceberg, climate change, etc., etc. That's perfectly true. You should not just turn on the lights and not use them. But if you just reduce the light to the place where you need it, the light bulb is a very good lighting. Why? Good light is what comes from the sun. And if I take incident lighting, they call it, if I heat some wolfram or something, then it gives a really full, beautiful spectrum, because it heats and it's basically it gives beautiful light all over the place. What did industry do? They saw we do not make large money of light bulbs, because people in China can make them too. So you want to have better lighting, and if you're a large company, you go to do a lobby in Brussels and you say, oh, we are using too much energy for the lighting, so the light bulb is evil. It should be replaced by better lighting. So the first thing they took, the fluorescent tubes, so to say, they curled them up and put them in kind of designs so that they would fit in the same way you screw normally a light bulb. And that was that CFL lamps and all kinds of things. And they had this like these curls on them and dangerous signs, because you could not throw them away because they had all kinds of terrible chemicals in them. And the light was not that good also. So we didn't hear much anymore from them. After the light bulb was outlawed several years ago, halogen light bulbs came. And they are basically a similar principle, but door the gas mixture and the way it works, they were a little bit more efficient than a traditional light bulb. So they were allowed. Since the 1st of September of this year, they are no longer allowed to be produced or imported in the European Union. It means you can still buy them, because just like as with the light bulbs, companies are allowed to sell their stock. So if a shop still has them, they are allowed to sell what they already have, but they cannot replenish their stock. So yeah, you can get them online, because some internet companies took a large building and put stock in there, but then it's finished. So what is left? You can still get some halogen in tubes, because it's a compromise by the European government. They say it's hard to replace because the fitting is different. So you can get them, but who has such? That are those big lamps that go to the ceiling. That you still can get. But normal, what you have to screw in the normal fitting where there used to be a light bulb, they expect you to take LED lighting. That's the only thing that a consumer is supposed to buy.
And how is the LED infecting us?
Well, the LED is a big problem, because it always had too much blue light. So what did industry do? Everybody said that's not good for you. People heard from the laptops, etc., etc. They say, well, we take a blue light LED and we put a little bit like a filter on it, so it looks a bit warmer. And they say it has a better color temperature. It's so natural. You feel good. No, you don't. So Dr. Wunsch, a guy from Germany, who made very clear that we need the infrared like we feel it from the sun. I feel a little bit heat now. We need it to compensate the fact that we have photoreceptors for blue light, but they are like evolved from DNA repair systems, and those proteins they have to do when there is too much UV light to repair things that get broken. And there is a whole elaborate system in our eyes to repair the damage from the blue light, although we are using it.
So
And
the red light will
yeah, and we need the infrared for this balancing system. So you need some infrared, not for the signaling function to wake up and to know my 24-hour cycle will go there, but the 24-hour cycle thing, their blue light is very good. Like Philips had these lamps with LEDs in it that you could use if you had a jet lag to get something. So you put them in the morning and you put them on and woof, you get all this blue light, and it works better than coffee. You're awake. Well, that in the morning and in the evening, that it goes into red light, that is our natural slowly waking up. The blue light signal goes in a flash. If you have in your bathroom have a LED lights with lots of blue light in it, and you have to go to the toilet at 3 o'clock in the night, and you switch it on, woof, because people like that. I have a beautiful, clean bathroom. You see it on all of the light. It can totally disrupt your sleep cycle.
Okay.
So better go in the dark or put some old illegal light bulb there.
So the old kind of bulb would not disturb the circadian rhythm.
A lot less.
So what if we have an infrared sauna at home?
Yeah.
Would that be helpful, you say?
Yes, I think so. That's intuitively I say if you're missing the infrared, so go into the sauna, you will get some of it. Then it will of course be in an unnatural timing.
It's better to go out and have some sun every day.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Just to go into the natural light. They did research in Europe. It's okayish, but they did in San Diego. They found out that people were really outdoors only for about 1 or 2 hours every week on average, because they were on their car and they go to the shopping mall and mind you, San Diego I see as a European, I think it's a sunny city in the south. They were inside, indoor, and then they are behind glass, and this glass doesn't give you the everything that's so nice about the light. And okay, now you could give the question, the light bulb also has glass. Yes, the light bulb is there to give you light when it's dark. And there you have artificial lighting that's really bad for you, and you have artificial light that is okayish. But a candle would even be a lot better, because...
Okay, but you think that it simply can harm the system in a way that the pineal gland will not create enough melatonin, isn't it? That's the conclusion.
No, it will disrupt the timing when this is produced.
Yeah, but the melatonin.
Yes, okay, of course. In the night,
tell the body when to do it. So
well, there is something very interesting going on here too, because we are all dressed properly and so. But if I do this, and I get then I also on my skin. I also have the blue light photoreceptor, they found out. Because it's a very interesting thing. There you see that we evolved, like the microbiome, that's 90% of what you see here. We are an ecosystem. All of the cells that have this inner biological clock, that clock is based on the same protein that plays a role in the photoreceptor in the retina. But it's interesting that protect your DNA from UV light. That's something any bacteria that were living in the ocean and wanted to be, or any organism, there evolved something that they could deal with the lots of UV light coming in. There is this subject called spin chemistry. And spin chemistry is a field that deals with chemical reactions that go faster or slower under the influence of an outside electromagnetic field. And their beautiful thing is they always show you this little bird that can navigate from Northern Europe almost to Africa and find his way and come back later to the same place where the food was before. And it navigates in the Earth's magnetic field, and it finds its way. And they were like, how does this work? Well, they found out if you genetically manipulate all kinds of things, or all kinds of circumstantial evidence comes together, and finally they know this cryptochrome protein, which also is a part of the blue light photoreceptor in the retina and in all our inner clocks, also is involved in sensing outside electromagnetic fields by living systems. If you see that we consist of cells, but we also consist of an ecosystem of all kinds of other microorganisms. To me, there is not a big difference between what was made with my own DNA and what is in the ecosystem, because it's all part of what I call me. My stomach is also part of me.
Yes.
So all these microorganisms, or our own cells, or different types of tissue, they have to function as one big ecosystem.
Yeah.
What is an ecosystem? For me, very simple. Things come together and they have an appointment. I give you my sugar cube at 8 o'clock tonight, like the
so
time for dinner.
Coming back to circadian rhythm.
Yeah, but if there is no synchronization in a system, let's suppose we have a nuclear war and somebody has found a way to disrupt the clocks of all of our iPhones.
So
society cannot function.
No.
So if a bee colony doesn't know at what time to visit which flower, the system will not function. If you disrupt my rhythm, I will not function.
So we're coming back to the light now.
To the light. For the LED light, I want to say, the argument is this saves energy.
Yeah, but
I would say it
tell
does
this to
not.
the government? Why don't we tell this to the government?
Yeah, there's big money behind it, I think.
So that's a bargain.
But the thing is that I think it costs energy. Because if you take a lighting that makes me stress and give me coffee and Red Bull and all the stuff, I will have a lifestyle that is consuming.
Yes.
I will take a car to the shopping mall and I buy lots of food and I eat it, etc., etc. And that behavioral thing that we do as modern men, that is changing the climate, and not the fact that we have thrown away the light bulb. Thank you.
Thank you very much.